This is 5 on your side at 5. Focused on you.
Tonight, we're getting a first look at video showing a shot being fired in a St. Louis neighborhood. Neighbors tell us the group was up to no good. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush.
I'm Kelly Jackson. A woman who lives in the area said she saw the people trying to open car doors before the shot was fired. Tonight, Justina Coronel joins us live from the Hill neighborhood where this happened. Justina.
Yeah, Mike and Kelly. So I spoke to the alderman of the ward, and he believes that our people are coming into the neighborhood, walking up and down the streets and pulling on door handles. Now, the alderman, Joe Vollmer, told me earlier today that in the past few days, groups of young adults are being dropped off and flipping those door handles. A lot of homeowners in this area actually have home cameras, and one security system was able to catch the suspects in action early this morning on the 5200 block of Wilson Avenue. Shortly after midnight, police confirmed 2 people in dark clothing got out of a car and looked into other cars with flashlights. In the video we've obtained, it shows the suspects running away, and at the end, one person firing their gun. Vollmer believes these culprits are looking for one thing.
The most troublesome thing about this is they're leaving cash in the car. They're opening glove boxes and consoles looking for guns. It's a very specific thing. People, if you have a gun, get a gun lock it in your house. Don't leave it in your car. Shouldn't leave anything in your car.
Vollmer recommends if you see this happening, do not confront them, do not interact with them. He recommends you calling police. Reporting live, Justina Coronel, 5 on your side.
In about an hour, a Missouri inmate will be executed. Mike Tisius was sentenced to death in 2010 for killing 2 Randolph County officers during a failed jail escape. There are protests across the state today. A small one took place just hours ago in downtown St. Louis. Missourians to abolish the death penalty argue Tisius was just 19 years old when he committed the crime and suffered from abuse and trauma. His lawyers argued a juror in the trial couldn't read or write, which violates state law. But the Supreme Court denied a request to block the execution. It will happen at 6 p.m. at the prison in Bonne Terre.
A Jefferson County man is injured tonight after a garage roof fell on top of him. It happened around 10 this morning in Cedar Hill. The man was doing a demolition when the garage roof collapsed. He had his phone in his pocket and was able to call for help. We're told he has moderate to severe injuries.
Time now for our Weather First forecast. You may have noticed a haze outside. Right now, we do have another air quality alert. So let's check in with meteorologist Jim Castillo. Jim?
Yes, all the way until 8 o'clock tonight around the metro, and then back into the, well, it looks like all the way back to Washington, Missouri. So Franklin County also included in on that. You see that haze in the sky, and not only is the ozone, the ground ozone, developing right around the ground, but then you also have some of that wildfire smoke that actually did make it to the surface. So unhealthy for sensitive groups. Scotty and I were just talking about how we briefly made it to even the red today, which is very unhealthy air. But right now, so orange air quality is the forecast for the rest of this evening, and it's unhealthy levels of ozone, maybe a little bit of wildfire smoke making it down to the surface. So till 8 o'clock tonight, then it's dry tonight, but there is a cold front with spotty rain coming for tomorrow. Doesn't look like much. It's not a drought buster by any means, but it will help to clear the air just a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about that coming up in Maine Weather in just a few minutes.
And you can get the Weather First forecast sent to your phone by texting the word weather to 314-425-5355. The Missouri NAACP is alerting the public about a travel advisory warning people of color about racial disparities in Missouri.
And one of the key pieces of evidence they point to comes from the Missouri Attorney General's office. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, is here with more on what is in that report. Mark.
Kelly and Mike, Missouri law requires police to report racial data on the people they stop and pull over to try and measure for any racial profiling. The Attorney General collects all that data and spits out a report every year. We just got to look at the 2022 numbers from last year. The data found black drivers were far more likely to get pulled over by police in the state of Missouri. Missouri's population is around 11% black, just under 11. But more than 17% of all police traffic stops in 2022 involved black drivers. When you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, over time, this racial disparity index has grown worse over the years. That constant has remained true now for more than 2 decades in Missouri, leading the NAACP to tell people of color, be careful coming here.
If you're a black person, you are way more likely to get pulled over. You need to be ready for that if you live in the state or if you're passing through the state. If you're a person that thinks they might need to avail themselves of the civil judicial system, right? Like you're working in the state, you have an agreement for compensation, and you're a black person, you're a female, you're a person who has a protected status, you need to be aware that there are doors to the courthouse that are closed to you because of how God made you.
The NAACP also points to unsolved murders of black victims, especially in cases where the facts and evidence strongly suggested an arrest could have or should have been made. And they point to weaker civil protections against discrimination in the workplace as part of their travel advisory.
Mark, thanks. A woman is in the hospital after a shooting inside a business in Alton. A woman went into the Rent-A-Center this morning to confront an employee. Police say she's related to the employee and had a protective order against the employee. The two started fighting. Another worker in the store who wasn't involved in the original fight pulled out a gun and shot the woman who came into the store. Right now, no word on whether there will be any charges.
An animal shelter in St. Louis is running out of room, and now it's considering an expansion to a closed jail building. Care STL in Midtown is looking after 130 animals, but only has 70 kennels. Some animals are staying outside. It wants to relocate to the old jail facility in North St. Louis, also known as the Workhouse. The city spokesperson referred us to what the mayor has said in the past, that the jailhouse should be used for a critical need in the city, and people are invited to give their input.
Free emergency contraception kits are now available in St. Louis County. The health department is working with the Missouri Family Health Council to provide the kits. They can be picked up at the John C. Murphy Health Center in Berkeley, the North Central Community Health Center in Jennings, or the South County Health Center in Sunset Hills.
Right now, the state of Missouri is under a drought alert. Some local communities are taking steps to make sure they're prepared in these dry conditions. Elise Schoenig reports from Wentzville, where leaders are asking residents to conserve water.
Wentzville has asked residents to split up weekly lawn watering during these dry conditions. So leaders are asking odd-numbered addresses to water on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and asking even-numbered addresses to water on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. They're also encouraging spot watering with a can or hose to last less than 30 minutes a day for plants and dry spots. The city's public works director says current conditions made this plan necessary.
Really, it's been 10 years since here in Wentzville, since we've seen really dry conditions like what we're experiencing now.
This voluntary plan is in effect until September 5th. The city will adjust it based on feedback and the weather. Reporting in Wentzville, Elise Schoenig, 5 on your side.